You are not a princess. You are not someone's quiet wife. You are a Shieldmaiden of the North, born under storm clouds and raised with sword in hand. Your life is not about suing or singing. It's about survival. You wear scars instead of jewelry. You eat beside warriors. You bury your dead and burn your enemies. This is not fantasy. This is your real life if you were born a female Viking Shieldmaiden in the 9th century. You were born in the cold, in a longhouse on the edge of the fjord, with the smell of pine smoke and blood in the air. Your mother screamed through labor, surrounded by women who had seen war and birth too many times to flinch. Your father was away, sailing with the raiders, unaware that his child had come into the world. A girl, fierce-eyed and red-faced. Most Viking girls were raised to cook, sew, and tend to the animals. But not you. Not in this household. Your father had no sons, only you. And he didn't see weakness. He saw a legacy. From the moment you could walk, you were taught to watch, to listen, and to endure. The North was no place for softness. You helped gut fish before you learned to braid your hair. You held a shield before you could lift a wooden spoon. Cold winds shaped you. Hunger tested you. The gods watched you. As you grew older, you weren't sent to the weaving room like the other girls. You were taken to the training circle. You sparred with boys. You fell, you bled, you got up. Your first real weapon was a short axe, too heavy for your arms, but you carried it anyway. Your muscles burned, your fingers blistered, but you didn't stop. When you lost, your father didn't comfort you, he corrected you. You learned fast. By 12, you could throw a spear with accuracy. By 14, you could skin a deer alone. By 16, you were taken on your first raid, not as a passenger, but as a fighter. You earned the title Shieldmaiden. Not every Viking woman became one. It wasn't common, but it wasn't legend either. You had to want it. You had to take it. And once you did, there was no going back. Your shield is round, made of layered wood, painted with your family symbol, a black raven on blood red. It is both weapon and wall. In battle, it is your first defense, and often your last. You learned the shield wall early. You trained to lock shoulders with men twice your size. You move as one unit, grunting and growling as you brace for first clash. Your heart pounds, your hands sweat, but you don't blink. The horn sounds, the enemy charges, and then steel meets flesh. Battle is not beautiful. It is not glorious. It is loud, terrifying, and messy. The first time you kill a man, you are surprised by the noise he makes. He doesn't scream, he gurgles. His sword drops before he does. You step over his body because you must. There is no time to mourn, no pause to reflect. You fight side by side with your shield sisters. Some fall, some rise again. You remember their names. You carve them into wooden beams on the longhouse when you return. Because if you don't remember them, who will? When you survive a raid, the village sings your name. They fill your cup. They press food into your hands. But you don't feel like a hero. You feel hollow, used up. You stare into the fire that night and think of the man who tried to stab you, and how your axe split his skull before he could. You do not cry. Crying is for the gods. Instead, you sharpen your blade. You must always be ready, because being a Shieldmaiden isn't a role, it's a sentence. Between battles, life is quiet, but never easy. You help rebuild what was burned. You dig graves. You train the next generation of girls who stare at your scars with a mix of fear and admiration. You are respected. You are feared. And sometimes, you are resented. Some men still mutter that women don't belong in war. They say it quietly after too much mead, when they think you're out of earshot. You hear it anyway. But you've earned your place. You've stood in the shield wall and lived. That alone silences most doubters. You learn more than just how to fight. You learn how to lead. On raids, you are trusted to command a flank. You are given your own crew, a mix of hardened warriors and eager youths. You stand at the bow of your longship, eyes fixed on the mist ahead, wind whipping your hair like a banner. The sea is brutal. You learn to read the waves, feel storms in your bones, and pray to Njord for calm waters. You sleep with your axe under your cloak, even on the boat. You never assume you're safe. You raid not just for gold, but for survival. The North doesn't forgive the unprepared. You bring back cattle, grain, tools, and sometimes, yes, slaves. It's the way of your time. You do not question it. Your world is harsh, and mercy is a weakness the gods don't honor. But you are not just a taker, you are a protector. When the village is threatened, you do not wait. You fight like a wolf protecting her den. And if you die, you hope it will be with your weapon in hand, so you can enter Valhalla. Every morning, you dress for both peace and war. You plait your hair tightly, tuck a blade in your belt, and step into the cold with eyes that see everything. You trust no peace that lasts too long. You know better. You are older now. Your shoulder aches when it rains. Your fingers are stiff in the mornings, but your eyes are still sharp, and your name is still whispered with awe by those who were children when you made your legend. You have taken a husband, or maybe you haven't. Maybe you chose to stay untethered, answering only to the gods and your own hunger for glory. Either way, no man owns you. No man dares. You've buried too many friends to count. You light their pyres yourself, sending them to the afterlife with the scent of pine and the sound of drums. You drink to their names, then go silent, staring at the flame until it eats the last bone. You wonder if they made it to Valhalla. You wonder if you will. You no longer rush into every fight, but when you lift your axe, younger warriors fall into line. They follow your commands without question. They know you've lived what they only dream about. You've seen foreign kings fall. You've sailed to lands they still believe are myths. You've walked through fire and come out whole. Your legend has grown taller than you are. In the marketplace, children whisper that you once killed 5 men alone, that your screams scare wolves, that you speak to the gods in your sleep. You don't correct them. Let the stories grow. Let the next girl dream. Then one day, word comes. The king calls for warriors. One last campaign. One final raid. You could stay home, live out your days near the hearth. No one would blame you. But you lace up your boots. You oil your armor. You sharpen your axe. Because you were never meant for the hearth. You were born for the howl of war, for the salt spray and the sting of blood. You were made to fight. This might be the last time. And if it is, then let it be the best time. The long ship creaks beneath your feet, just as it always has. The cold sea bites at your face, and you close your eyes and breathe it in like a prayer. Around you, warriors hum battle songs under their breath. Some are barely men. They glance at you for courage, and you give them a nod. Steady, calm, deadly. The coast rises in the distance. A fat, wealthy village tucked into a valley, unaware of what approaches. You remember the first time you saw such a place, how your hands shook, how you gripped your shield too tightly. Now, it is just routine. Another raid, another test. But deep inside, something feels different. You aren't tired in a way that goes beyond the body, tired in the soul. But still, you will fight. You lead the charge. The beach is chaos. Arrows fly, steel clashes, screams echo across the cliffs. You find your rhythm, the familiar dance of violence. You take down a swordsman, dodge a spear, slam your shield into another's throat. Your crew follows your lead. The village falls quickly. Fires rise. The loot is claimed, but not without a cost. One of your own goes down, young, reckless, bleeding out in the sand. You hold her hand as her eyes go dim. You whisper the names of the gods. You kiss her forehead and close her eyes. You hate this part most of all. That night, the victory feasts feel hollow. You eat, you drink, but your mind is far away. The fire crackles, the meat is bitter. You stare into the embers and feel the weight of years. This might truly be the end. And when you return home, greeted by cheers and song, you know you will never sail again. You walk through the village like a shadow. People bow their heads in respect. No one dares speak loudly around you. You are a legend now. You lay down your weapons one last time. Not because you've lost them, but because you've earned the rest. You walk to the top of the hill and sit in silence. The wind howls like an old friend, and you wait. Your story is not written in ink. It is carved into wood, etched into stone, sung over fires. You were a daughter, a fighter, a leader, a Shieldmaiden. You were feared by enemies and loved by your people. You lived with honor, you died with glory, and long after your bones return to the earth, your name will still ride the wind. Because you were never just a woman, you were a force, and that force lives on. Every time a girl picks up a sword, stands her ground, or dares to defy the path chosen for her, you were a Shieldmaiden, and your saga is eternal.